Hello students, today we'll perform an activity on congruent triangles. Now, before we start the activity, let's discuss about congruent figures. Now, what are congruent figures? Two figures are said to be congruent if they are having exactly the same shape and size. For example, look at my palm. If I cover one palm with another palm of mine, you will find that they are completely covering each other. So when two figures are completely covering each other, we say that they are superimposing each other. So such figures which completely cover each other, or we can say superimpose, they are called congruent figures. Let's take one more example, that is of your NCERT maths book for class 9. If the edition year is, if they are published in the same year and you put one book over the other, you will find again they will completely cover each other. So they are also congruent. Now, when we talk about line segments, so what is the condition for two line segments to be congruent? Now you know, in line segment only one dimension is there, that is length. So if we want the two line segments to be congruent, that means their length has to be equal, or we can say same. So in this figure you can see AB and CD both are congruent line segments because they are equal in length. Similarly, if two angles are given and we want them to be congruent, then the only condition required is that their angle measure should be same. Like you can see in the figure, angle A and angle B both are of the same measure, that is 45 degree. So we can say angle A is equal to angle B. Okay, one more interesting thing in this, in angle, the length of the ray is immaterialistic. We don't count it. Why? Because the ray can be extended to any length infinitely. So even if the length ray is different in both the angles and the angle measure is same, we will say that yes, the two angles are congruent to each other. Similarly, two circles are said to be congruent if and only if their radii are equal. Because in circles, the only dimension there is radius. So if that is equal, we can say the two circles are congruent to each other. Now, coming to the triangles, which is our topic for today. So when do we say that two triangles are congruent to each other? So for that, first we need to understand that how many parts are there in a triangle. See, in a triangle, it could be any type of triangle, scalene, isosceles, equilateral, acute, obtuse, right? Any type of triangle. So this goes to all types of triangles. So let's take, I have taken one cutout to show this. Fine. So if you look at this triangle, we can see there are three sides. We have three angles and three vertices. So these are the parts of a triangle. Fine. So when we say that two triangles are congruent to each other, that means we are talking about all the parts of one triangle equal to all the corresponding parts of the other triangle. So parts here means all three sides of one triangle should be equal to all three sides and three angles of the other triangle. Fine. So let's take some cutouts to understand this concept.